If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Open House. I'm Zach, and today we're going to be talking with Kelly Gayton, a local resident and expert in Purcellville, Virginia. So we're going to be covering everything from homes to entertainment. Kelly, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I want to kick things off and figure out how long you've been an agent and also what you love about living in Purcellville.
I have been a real estate agent for over 20 years. In 2008, I got a broker's license, but I'm still selling full time. That's my passion.
That's really cool. And you've lived in Purcellville for how long?
I've been in Purcellville for 5 years. I've lived in Western Loudoun County for about 20 years. So Purcellville's home to me now.
That's cool. Well, it's keeping you around for a reason, so I'm excited to learn why. Purcellville doesn't look too big. What's the population?
There's about 9,000 people living in Purcellville. The zip code goes far and wide. It stretches all the way to the West Virginia line on the west side, and then on the south side it goes all the way to Middleburg.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that is a big zip code. So I'm assuming it's not as heavily populated of an area as it is closer to DC. So I'm kind of curious with you being a little bit further out, what's the median home price?
Within the last year, it's been about $640 in this area. So
okay.
Yeah, with about 5% increase from last year.
Gotcha. Which is typical. So I'm curious about, is it just single family homes? Do you have townhomes, apartments? What's the variety look like?
So the zoning in this area for building is typically one house per 20 acres, but there were some earlier subdivisions before that rule. So we do have townhomes right in the downtown Purcellville area. There are townhomes on the outskirts. There are some apartment buildings, yes. We have a historic district, so you have a nice eclectic mix of historic homes that have been renovated and beautiful new homes. Most of the bigger homes are on 3-acre lots that were in the subdivision before the big zoning happened. But right now, it's hard to make subdivisions with 1/4-acre lots here. There's really no option to do that. They want to keep open space, and there's a reason. It's beautiful.
Okay, so it's for preservation.
It's conservation and preservation. A lot of this area still has the fox hunt that goes through.
Cool.
Yeah, so there are big farms, horse farms, there are conservation farms. A lot of land has been put into conservation easement. So that's one of the blessings of living in this area. It's gorgeous.
That's really cool. I've never heard of a zoning rule like that. So how long would you say it's going to take for all the spots to be filled?
Well, I mean, there are some exceptions to the rule. There are some builders that build hamlet subdivisions. So they'll take a 100-acre piece and leave a large 15 or 20-acre lot with the house. And then they can do smaller, maybe, 2-acre lots around it. But they have to have some open space. That's the rule. The county wants that. The other thing, internet is kind of difficult in this area. So we don't have a lot of Fios or Comcast unless the builders are coming in now adding it. So that's been a big kind of an issue with people wanting to live here. But our board of supervisors has put into action. They're putting it everywhere. So now it's coming and people work from home. You need that. So it's very important to have it.
Yeah. Well, and yours seems to be doing all right. So that's a good sign that things are moving forward. So,
I'm in downtown Purcellville, so I have Comcast or Xfinity.
gotcha. Well, cool. That's definitely good to know. So I'm curious, with there not being a huge population, I know that the government jobs in the area are pretty big, and a lot of people work in DC. Maybe aside from that, what are some other things that people do for work in Purcellville?
Well, you have a lot of executives for Amazon or some of the big government contractors. They
Mm,
do live and work here in Purcellville, every day. Business owners, people starting their own businesses, working from home, or creating businesses, service businesses. So there's just such an eclectic mix of people here that work and live and just have a great time together.
that's cool. So it's good to know that there's work in Purcellville. Are people commuting anywhere else aside from DC for work?
I think you'll see people going from here to Reston or from here to, Herndon,
Mm,
Alexandria. There's plenty of people that go to Alexandria. We have access to the MARC train just across the river in Brunswick, Maryland. So if you want to take a train to DC, you can quickly, in 15 minutes, be to the train station. There's bus service. So if you wanted to not drive, you could go to the next town over in Hamilton and take the bus and go to DC on the bus.
okay, that's not
Yeah.
bad. How far of a commute is it?
That's an hour. It's 30 miles to DC. The other thing is Ashburn is getting our very own metro station, and Ashburn's about 25 minutes from here. So
Oh,
we'll
cool.
have our own metro stop here in the next year or so.
That's really nice. The metro's growing quite a bit from what I'm understanding, and it's already pretty good. So that's good news for sure. I want to talk about family life and what someone could expect if they're moving there with kids. What public schools are available in the area, and do you have any other specialty schools?
We have both. We have county schools, and our school stats are excellent. They're rated on, you can find them online for Loudoun County Schools. You've got everything here. Some of the kids walk from the elementary schools and the middle schools here. You still see that. It's a country life. It feels very community oriented, and it feels like a safe place to be. So we all love that. People walking their dogs. On any given day, you're out walking dogs, and you're walking along with the school kids who are going from one place to another. So I think that's a plus.
That's cool. What are some of the colleges that are closest by?
We have Patrick Henry College here in town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's here, and really no other colleges locally, like Northern Virginia community colleges. I think it's in Sterling.
Hmm,
So that's about a half an hour drive.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, good to know there's a college right in town, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And then what do families do for fun in Purcellville? Because I know you mentioned people work and play there. What are some things that they typically do?
Well, we have the WNOD used to run the train from almost DC all the way out to Purcellville. It ends in Purcellville. There is
Mm,
still a train station building there that was made into our visitor center. And now it is a bike trail. So you can, for the Purcellville to Leesburg place, you can ride a horse or walk or ride your bike on the bike trail.
hmm,
So it's a shady, beautiful walk and ride in many places. And it's a community gathering place. People just, they start and stop and they pass each other along the way. So that's a big draw.
hmm,
We have, soccer fields. We have the Bush Tabernacle skating rink. It's a roller skating rink. It's old school with the wooden floors, and it's right in downtown Purcellville. Right next to that is the Cannons minor league baseball field. So in the summertime, you've got baseball games. This is all within walking distance of my house, which I love because I can
hmm.
hear the baseball games when they're going on. Yeah, so there's just a great sense of community and gathering and people, looking out for each other.
That's really good. So, and you mentioned something about the historic area earlier. What about a night out with friends or just as a couple going on a date, what restaurants and bars and shopping do you have available?
Gosh, we have the newest restaurant is called the Bia Kitchen, and it is fabulous. That was just opened maybe a year ago in downtown Purcellville on 21st Street.
Hmm.
Just down the street from that, you have the Magnolia Restaurant, which is an old mill that was renovated into a restaurant, and that's a big destination. It's right by the bike trail, so people can literally, it's not, I mean, it's fancy, it can be date night, but it's also super casual.
Yeah.
Here you walk into Southern States and you see everybody from business suits to horse attire to golf attire. We have a golf course right here, a private golf course right here in the middle of Purcellville.
That's cool. What about shopping? I wouldn't anticipate you having like a huge mall there or anything. If you wanted some bigger retail shopping, where would you go to do that?
Well, we have two grocery stores. We have a Harris Teeter and a Giant. Numerous family-owned restaurants, as I said, dry cleaners, hairdressers. We have an automotive retail shop. We have drugstores. Pretty much anything day to day, that you would need is here. If you want to go to Costco, that's in Leesburg. If you need like Target, that's in Leesburg. The mall, there is an outside mall in Leesburg, the outlet center, the Leesburg Outlet Mall.
Oh,
and
cool.
then I think Dulles Town Center would be the next biggest mall, and that's in Sterling, Dulles area.
Okay. So how long does it take to get to Leesburg and then Sterling, which is a bit further?
So Leesburg can take 10 or 15 minutes. It just depends on which end you're going.
Not bad.
And Sterling is is again 20 minutes. So we have a bypass that is a toll road if you want to do that, and it's pretty quick. So that's easy to get to Points East. That takes you all the way down to 66.
Gotcha. Cool. That's good to know that there's options for that.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned dog walking, and I'm curious about the parks in the area because you said preservation and conservation is huge. Do you have a lot of city parks out there, or even state parks, or anything like that?
We do. We have several. We have one that's getting ready to open. Well, it has actually opened. The ribbon cutting is the 22nd, and it's Adams Bike Park. And it's actually named for a little boy that passed away, and they opened the park in his honor. And so that's going to be a great little location for people to go ride their bikes, walk your dogs. We don't really have in this area like a dog park where you let them all go because there's a couple in Leesburg, but you'll take. I mean, a lot of restaurants are dog friendly. So if I wanted to put my dog in the car to run errands, she can go to the jewelry store. She can go to many restaurants and be outside. Most of the shops don't care if you bring your dog in. Very, very dog friendly. Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. I have a boxer German Shepherd, and we're always trying. She's the sweetest thing ever. But she's a big dog, and people get to carry their little dogs, and no one says anything. But if you have a big dog, a lot of times your options are limited. So that's good to know that they like dogs.
Oh yeah,
So,
I bring her with me whenever I can. When the weather, I have a little 30-pound English setter mix, and she just loves everybody. So if she can go, she's going to go.
that's cool. That's good to know. I'm curious a little bit about the history of Purcellville. It kind of sounds like a last name. Can you tell me about that?
Named for the Purcell family, who kind of founded the town. And actually, the house that they lived in and their old barn was preserved and made part of a shopping center at the end of town, right by there's a little traffic circle. So that's still there. So those things were preserved so that the family's memory could be kind of remembered. I don't know that a lot of people know that.
Huh. Were they like the first settlers of this area, or like what's the deal?
I don't know. There were several different family names, the Nichols families and a couple of others, but I don't know how the Purcell's family name got into the into the town name.
Huh.
It's hard to know, because I know some of the other towns in the area where they started weren't what the name ended up. So there's a great history library in Leesburg. It's called the Balch Library. So every time I list a historic property, I go to the Balch Library to see what I can find out about the property, and there's always great material there.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really good to
That's a fun day.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's 15 minutes away, so that's really convenient. Um, Man, I've learned a lot in a short amount of time, and Purcellville sounds really cool. It seems really accessible. You mentioned Leesburg, which is really close, and of course, people commute to some of the bigger cities nearby, like Alexandria and DC. So, if someone were like on the fence about moving to Virginia and maybe they were thinking about Purcellville, what would you say has been your overall experience living here?
Well, I think I told you I started, my first home was in Leesburg, and then I migrated a little bit farther west to Hamilton and then ended up in Purcellville. It's closer to the things that I like to do, the golf. I was riding horses. I mean, it's really close to a lot of things. It's easy to get to a lot of things. But there's generally not as much traffic as you would find in some of the more eastern locations. So I think people do come a little bit farther west because there's more open space, there's less traffic and less people. But you know, but there's plenty of community and lots of things to do. Wineries, breweries. You mentioned date night. We have a distillery here that is renowned for their bourbons and whiskeys. So there's just a great fun community of things to do. Always something fun to do.
That's awesome. Well, Kelly, thanks for coming on and taking the time to share what you know about Purcellville. And I think we all learned something new today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.